Hi there, and welcome to this week's edition of Bitrix24 Live. My name is Andy, and I'm the support manager here at Bitrix24 Gold Partners Intraface. And we are located in the US, in the UK, and also in the UAE. And we offer a whole range of different services from pre-sale support. So if you're interested in purchasing Bitrix, then we can certainly help you out with any demonstrations to ensure that Bitrix is a good fit for your organization. We also offer implementation services. So if you're looking at onboarding your workforce, if you've already got Bitrix, then we can assist with that. We also offer licensing and also hosting for the on-premise version of Bitrix. And finally, we offer premium support services, so ticketing, telephone, chat support. So we have these sessions every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and they're essentially to answer any questions that you may have on Bitrix24, so we can show you live on the screen the answers to those questions. So we have the cloud version and the on-premise version, so questions on either I can answer for you today. We do have some questions that come through in during the week, so if you do have any questions on Bitrix in the week that you want to get answered on one of these live sessions, then do send them in to sales@intraface.com and we can start the sessions off with those questions. But do please put the questions forward on YouTube and I'll answer them as we go along. As I mentioned, we do have a few questions that have already come through. And one of the questions was to start off with was with regards to adding a field to be able to search for and select an existing company within the CRM. So there's a number of ways you can do this. So if we were to go into, first of all, in a workflow, and for those of you that are not aware, Bitrix has this workflow tool on here. So let me just give this a refresh. And you can create a field that is a bind to CRM element. So you can see in here we have a form. If I just go into the workflow settings and let that load up, and then if we go into a business trip, just for an example, and what we can do in here is click on customize fields within this particular workflow, and we can add a new field. So click on add field here, and then in the type what we have is we have bind to CRM items. So it might be that we want to request a business trip to a particular company that exists within your CRM. So we can do that. So if we can say, we'll call the name company visiting, and we have the bind to CRM item selected. We don't want to be able to select a lead or a contact or a deal. What I'm going to do is just highlight company here. So if I click on save, and then if I go to this business trip workflow now in the activity stream, click on workflow, click on business trip, and then you'll be able to see here that we have a field that you can clearly select. So if I click on select here, you can see I can start searching for a company that exists within the CRM. So if I was to click on Bitrix24, for example, then that would allow me to bind this entry that I'm submitting for a business trip to the company Bitrix24. So that's how you would do it within the workflows themselves. So it's quite straightforward. If you want contacts, companies, leads and deals, you can have all four entities if you want to. So the option is there. So hopefully that one helps. If you've got any questions, do put them forward. I have quite a number of queries that have come in previously, so I can go through those. With regards to triggering automation off when a CRM form gets submitted from your website. So we have a number of clients that have multiple CRM forms on their Bitrix24 site. And what they want to do is actually target their automation responses based on which CRM form comes in to generate a lead. So if we go into our CRM forms at the top here, and for those of you that don't know, you can create a web form inside Bitrix to be able to embed on your existing company website. So whether you've got a WordPress site or an e-commerce site, you can create a form internally inside Bitrix and then get the embed code here, and then you can paste that embed code onto your website. If you're using a Bitrix24 site, which I'm going to come to in a little bit, we have a question about that, you can actually integrate it seamlessly without having to use this embed code. So it's quite easy to add a CRM form on a site. But going back to the question, it was just with regards to how can you trigger different automations based on different forms being submitted. So you can see here I have two web forms. So I have a competition entry and I have an inquiry form. When they come in, they will come in with a lead name of that particular type. So you can see in here, if I type in here, I'm going to be interested in the CRM, click on submit. What that will do is it will create a lead. So the way that form is set up, so if we click into here, we should be able to see the new lead that has been created, and you will be able to see that. So we got competition entry up here. So that is that particular entry form. And then I might want to submit another one. So if I wanted to go into the inquiry form, click on here, click on, and then I might want to just put company name is interface core, and then have a telephone number. And then this person might be interested in project management. So once that's submitted, that will then again create a lead within the system. So if I was to refresh this, we should be able to see two different forms. So you can see inquiry form and you can see competition entry form. So going back to the question that was asked is how can you trigger automation off on this competition entry compared to the inquiry form, because you don't want to send thanks for your competition entry to the inquiry form submission. So what you need to do is you need to go into the automation rules, and then in here what I'll do is just click on configure automation rules and just remove that first one on there. So let me just open up in this tab here, and then what I can do is just copy this particular lead name, because what Bitrix does is it always will name the lead based on the inquiry form that has been submitted, the CRM form that has been submitted. So this one says complete CRM form, inquiry form. This one says complete CRM form, competition entry. And in between these speech marks is the name of the form. So now that we know that, what we can do is click on automation rules, click on client communication, click on send email, and then we're going to have a condition that's going to check the lead name. So we check the lead name and we check is equal to, and then if I paste in that particular lead name, because it's always going to be called that to start off with when the form gets submitted, that will mean that this email will only send to inquiry form entry submissions. So I could put thank you for your inquiry, And then in the email, I could put whatever I wanted to in here. And you can bring in any fields that exist inside the lead themselves. So I could put hello first name. And then that would send to that particular submission. So I could say send enquiry response. Okay, so that would do that one. And then all I would do for this particular entry is copy this name here, and then I can add another email, click on send email on this one. I mean, it might even be that you want, for competition entries, you might want to send an SMS response back. So we could do that instead. But it still has the condition field, so you could have a lead name equals, and then again we paste in the competition entry lead name, and then we could put thanks for entering our competition. And we select the provider, so we would select Plivo, who we've connected up internally inside Bitrix, and then those are the two differences. So if you were to generate a lead normally, these two automation rules would not trigger. This is only going to trigger when an inquiry form gets submitted, sends this email, or when a competition entry form gets submitted, it sends this SMS, and it's all based on that condition. So those are quite useful tools to be able to add into your automation. And obviously you can base those conditions not on just on the lead name, but you can base them on data that's been submitted via the form. So I clicked on I'm interested in the CRM, or I'm interested in the project management. I can send an email based on that response too. So that's quite useful. Just to follow up on that, we had another question that's quite commonly asked, is with regards to lead naming conventions. So it's going to be up to you what you want to call your particular lead. I would take it and put it into the automation of how to name your lead, so that people adding leads to your system aren't going to be just adding anything as the particular lead name. And what I would recommend doing for that is, after our automation for these two emails, what we could do is scroll down for employee, click on edit element, and you can see here it already has the lead name. So what edit element is doing is it's updating any field that exists inside Bitrix leads module. So I've got lead name here, I delete that. I can still bring it back in once I click on select field, but you can see here I can update any field that exists inside a lead. In terms of the lead naming rule, I would usually put, again it's completely up to you how your business runs, but I might want to put the lead first name, the lead last name, and then maybe we could put something else. So we could put what they're interested in. So we could put here, and then in the lead we can pull up another field that exists inside the lead, and we could call it interested in. I think we have that field in here, so interested in. So what that will do is it will always try and name it update lead name. So click on save, and what that'll do, I'll just quickly add a new lead. It's quite straightforward. Click on add, and then on here and then if I just select on the interested in field here, so if I said interested in project management, so if I click on save here, ignore the duplicate control for this one, then what you'll be able to see, I didn't enter a lead name, but I've got the automation set to say Andrew Naylor project management. And it's a great way of having consistent data then inside your lead CRM. It's just an option on here. Just got a question, how can we share the calendar in auto emailer, and once client book the appointment that will be saved in client book the appointment that will be saved in Leads in form. How can we share the calendar? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking there. I mean, with regards to if you're referring to the book resource, so we have a book resource field, and that's how you would generally get it into the lead. So we would have a book resource type here. That then allows you to select. So if we wanted to say book training, click on save. This is quite a good field, even if this is not what you're referring to. So you can see if I just bring that field into here and book training, then in here when I go into it, I can select, for example, the employee that I'm logged in as, Max Smith, and then we can book in a particular entry in here for 3:30, 60 minutes. And then if we want to change these, we can actually edit and actually bring in the resources themselves. But when this is booked in, it will go into that particular user's calendar. And when we use it here to put on a CRM form and then allow our people who purchase support from us to book a time slot using that. So if I was to click on save here, click on Max Smith, click on save. If I just show you what I mean by that in a moment. So if I go into settings, CRM form. And then if we edit this particular one here, then we can say, we can select an employee, we can select a service, and this is how it looks on a particular entry in here. You mentioned about booking a meeting via an auto emailer that task as per date and time. The only way you'd be able to do it is send booking a meeting by doing this way. So you would have to send an auto emailer with a link to a CRM form in it. That would then allow them to book a meeting based on this employee's. So if I click on the little gear icon here, I think I can click. So it will allow you to book a meeting with whichever employee that you select on there. This will then check that employee's availability on that calendar, and when that person submits this form, it will go into the lead, and then it will also book against this employee's calendar entry, calendar inside Bitrix. So I think that's what you need to do. You can't book directly from an auto emailer. You would have to send them to a CRM form with this book resource on there. And then here, this is what you can see it will look like on the form on the right hand side. So if I said click on here and select again Max, so that's one employee, we can add a service. So we'll just say 1 hour service on here. You can style however you want the calendar to look, finish customization, click send, save. And then on here, what you will do is if I just show you the preview of the form, open link in new tab, you can see in here, I've only selected Max Smith. He has a 60-minute session in here. And then I think you can specify how the different durations of the service that you offer. And you can see based on this calendar entry, we only have 4 p.m., 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. And if I click on this, click on send, then it will go into the lead and then again book that time slot out for that particular employee. It's something that we use quite a lot here for booking in our support calls online. And then you've got add an auto task will be assigned to an email per the time and date asked by the client. Yeah, I mean it adds it to the calendar entry. If you wanted to add a task as well, then you could do what I did right at the beginning with regards to this CRM form being submitted, and just checking the lead name. Once I make a Facebook ad audition from the CRM or lead, it shows as live, but not visible in Facebook anywhere. What is the right way of accessing it? I guess what you're referring to, I mean, the way that Bitrix connects up with Facebook is the Facebook lead ad, the Facebook ad connection. So what you would need to do is you would need to, first of all, create your CRM form. That's how Bitrix integrates with the lead ads. That's one way anyway. So if you click into Contact Center here, we can click into the Facebook lead ads up here, and then we can select this particular form. Now, once you've selected this particular form and connect up on here, then you should, I'm not too familiar with Facebook ads internally inside Facebook, but once you've done this, I think if I just show you Bitrix, there is an article on this, Bitrix24 Facebook lead, and then if you go in here, I think it does just give you a picture of the location where it should be inside Facebook. So you click on here, it should be in the forms library down here, and then in here. So it's quite a good tool to be able to use. I'm just going to finish off one of the questions that I got before, just with regards to that form integration. So if you're using the CRM forms, we've covered them quite a lot at the beginning, just that we had a number of questions come through to us before. But if you want to integrate them into a Bitrix24 site, it is very straightforward to do. So if we click into one of our sites, so we've got a landing page that offers a competition, we click in Edit in here, and then to get that CRM form into this site, all you need to do, we've already got one in here, but all you would need to do is click on Add Block and then just click on CRM form. So it gives you a number of different layouts. Once you select a particular layout in here, all you need to do is click on Edit, and then you will get access to every CRM form that you've created inside your CRM. So it's quite straightforward to do that. And that may be one way, and again, what Bitrix gives you the ability to do is obviously embed your CRM forms, but if you've not got a site, then you might want to use the public link that Bitrix provides on your CRM form. So in the CRM forms here, next to every form that you create, there is a public link. You can just link to that by all means. What I would usually recommend doing though is just create a basic landing page like this. I mean, that's all you would need. You would just need really one section and put the CRM form on here. You might want to put a small footer on as well with your contact details on, but it looks a lot better because you can use your own domain name, you can use a Bitrix24 domain name just to be putting these particular forms on the particular page. So it's just a way of branding it up on here. So I just put our contact details up just while we've been speaking about, we've had a bit of a focus on lead automation and the CRM forms for the moment. As I mentioned right at the beginning, we are Bitrix24 Gold Partners. I and the team host these sessions every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. You should just consider them as an hour free support, and you can ask us anything and we can try and assist you with the best practices and the best ways to achieve what you're looking for. So do please put the questions in the box on YouTube. If you do have questions that come through the week, send them to sales@intraface.com and I can send those along to whoever's doing their Thursday session, and then we can answer them at the beginning of each session. These are all recorded. So if you've asked a question in the week and you don't get a chance to watch us live on YouTube, then you can review the recording after. So we've had a common question over the past few couple of weeks, 2 weeks, and it's just about some of the task filtering is still showing closed tasks, and the reason why that is, I may or may not be able to show you on here. We don't generally have too many tasks. Let me just see on our on-premise system if we have it set up on here. Yes, we might have. So if you click on here, then sometimes we might see closed tasks on here currently. The reason for it is because Bitrix have changed their functionality a little bit with regards to how they perceive tasks as closed out. And it's generally because the tasks that are closed and still showing, even if you've got the in progress filter set, it's because there's a comment on it that you've not read before. So all you need to do to remove those tasks from your in progress view, then you just click on read all, unless you want to go through the tasks themselves, and you'll be able to see the tasks that have an updated comment since you last. So if I click on 3 comments, I'll be able to see that these 3 tasks have had comments since I've previously been in it. So I can click into here and review the comment on that particular task. So you can see here a comment has been made. So all you need to do is just click on read all, and that will take them off your in progress list. It's just so you don't miss anything. I think it's quite a good feature that's been introduced. So you mentioned about next time on Facebook ads from Bitrix. I'm not too familiar on the Facebook ads concept. I think it's with regards to the CRM marketing module. So what you can do is you can retarget in your ad networks. And one of the automation rules actually allows you to add it into your retargeting in your ad network. So if I click on here, then we can pull up a segment to retarget. Now, the segment you should have already created based on your leads. So you click into here, and then we click on, for example, Thursday mailer, and then that will add these particular details into your targeted list to see your Facebook ad. So I mean, that's essentially what I think I only have a sample account on here, but you should be able to add that segment into your particular audience. I don't have one at the minute, but you would create an audience in Facebook, and then you can target these particular people in this campaign. As I mentioned, I'm not too familiar with Facebook advertising on the Facebook ad side, so I would probably recommend taking a look at the articles on the Bitrix24 website as well. But I mean, all it does is take the contact details of the people that you've gained leads from and add them into this particular Facebook ad for retargeting. What I would recommend doing is, for those of you who don't know, and it is a question that does come up quite regularly, that you should always create a segment to do your CRM marketing for. So if it's whether it's that retargeting on Facebook, or whether it's sending an email campaign out or an SMS campaign, what I would recommend doing is creating your segment from your CRM. So go into your CRM, click on leads, then use the filter to be able to filter out the people who you want to send a marketing campaign to. So it might be that we add our field in for what are they interested in. So we click on what are they interested in. we click on project management, and then we click on search. So that will pull us a list of all the leads that are interested in project management. So from that, what I would do is select them all. Now we only have 3 records on here, but if we had 3,000 records, we would just need to ensure that the for all checkbox has been checked. Then what we can do is click on add to segment here, and we can click on create new, and then click on apply, and then that will create our marketing segment within the CRM marketing module. So if I go into CRM marketing now, click on segment here, and then you will see lead segment August 20th. So I click into here, and let's just say we're going to use this for Facebook, for example. So Facebook, and then we'll call it project management audience. Click into here, click into save, and then I've renamed it. So then what you can do is, if we go back to the start, click on your Facebook ads. We can then use that segment here. So I can click on my segments, and I'll be able to find the one that I've added in here somewhere. So yep, so we've got Facebook project management audience, the one that I've just created, and then you can add it to an audience that exists inside here. And that's a way of that's also a way of sending out particular ad campaigns too. So if I clicked on campaigns, I can go via this method, click on an email campaign, choose a template that we've either created ourselves or Bitrix provide. So I can create this particular template. And again, we can choose that segment from my segments list in here and send this email out to those particular people that we've filtered out on there. And that's how you should integrate the CRM with the CRM marketing options that you've got within Bitrix. Because you can create your own templates, you can send tests, you can schedule them, and it is a good way of being able to target the leads that you're getting in regularly. So let's just see if we've got some more questions in here. So we had a question about a workflow, and it was I know you can assign one more person to a task, but can customize it so that the person who kicks off the workflow is the one who the tasks come to automatically, rather than each task goes to both people. So what you can do in workflows, so again, what we'll have a look at is that business trip workflow that we saw a moment ago. And what you can do is you can pull the person who started the workflow off into a particular task. So let's go into our workflows in here and then click into settings, and then we'll click into our business trip, and then what we can do is click into actions, click into configure workflows, and then we have a business trip workflow that's triggered once it gets submitted. So it's quite straightforward. Instead of running this just for the moment, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a stop on this at the start. So we'll click on other, and then we'll click on terminate business process. So nothing below this will get triggered. So instead, all I'm going to do is just show you in reference to what the question was asked, is how do I create a task for the person who has submitted the workflow. So you click into here, and then what we can do is set the responsible person, click in these little 3 dots to the right hand side, click in elements fields, and then click on created by. The created by is the person who has submitted that particular form. So I could say Andy's task, click in here, we can specify who the creator is, so we might want David to be the creator, and we can give it a description. This is the description. Click on save, click on save again, and then when we go to run this particular workflow, then what we can do is click into here on more, click into workflow, we'll have our business trip, and then we can put whatever we want in here. This data is not going to be used because I terminated the particular process, but we click on start, and you can see here I've got a task notification automatically pop up in my notifications, and then in our task and projects we come in here and you can see Andy's task, and I'm the responsible person and David was the person who created it. And that's how you create a task for the person who has submitted a particular workflow. So it's quite straightforward, but you can use those in quite a lot of context as well, because you can use that in the CRM automation. So if you can automatically, if we were to use the automation rules, and let's say that we wanted a task to be created on the first stage of our automation rules. Sorry, click out of here, click on configure automation rules, click on add for employees, scroll down to add a task. So you can see here the responsible person is automatically defaulted to the responsible person of the lead, which is really good. We can click out of here, click on roles, and you can see here you can pretty much do the same thing. So whoever's created the lead, you could assign as the responsible person. Whoever the person who was last modified the lead, we can set as the creator of, the responsible of the task. So you can use these, especially if you've got custom fields that are bind to user. You can also use those. So I'll just show you that as well. And please do keep your questions coming through. But one of the good settings, one of the good field types for a particular lead is actually bind to user. So if I go into our custom field section, click on add field, and then bind to user, and I want to say that this is a lead opener. Okay, so this field is called a lead opener. It's bind to user, so if I click on save here, I'll just show you what that looks like. So if I go into a particular lead that we've got created, this one we created a moment ago, and what I can do here is click on lead opener, then in here I can click it, click select, and search for an employee that exists on the system. So if I click David Brown on this, then what we could do is we could add some automation a little bit later down the path. So if I click into configure here, and let's just remove these two, and let's just show creating a task. So I could say opener collect, additional lead information. And we can put whatever we want in here, collect the following. And one of the good things with these tasks is, so we'll put 5 days from the current time. One of the good things with these tasks is you can add checklist items. So we're going to collect the following. We're going to collect credit rating. We're going to collect, employee status. And then finally we'll collect, tax code. And then what we want to do is we don't want to let the responsible person change the deadline, and the task doesn't need to be approved before it's closed. So we clicked on here, but my apologies, there's just this one option that we will need to change. So the responsible person is now going to be this custom field that we'd created. So you can see here this custom field called lead opener. Now if I click on save again, come out of here and go into the lead that I created a moment ago that I've just set. Let me just hide that particular field. We set the lead opener to be David Brown. Now if I click on initial contact here, you can now see that we have the opener collect additional lead information. If I click on it, that should be set to the responsible person of David Brown. So it's using a custom field inside the lead to auto-populate the responsibility of a particular task that you've created inside the automation. And then inside that automation, we have the checklist that we can continue to work through. And the checklists are a perfect way of setting all the steps that need to be carried out for a particular task to be completed. Some people do it via checklists, some people do it via head tasks and subtasks. So it's going to be your personal preference with regards to working inside Bitrix. So I just put our contact details up there for the moment. Again, just so for those of you that missed at the start, my name is Andy and I'm the support manager here at Intraface. We're gold partners of Bitrix24 and we offer a whole range of different services from pre-sale support all the way through to premium support, so ticketing, telephone and live chat support. So do get in touch with us if you need any of those services. I've got a question. Can you briefly show or talk about the difference between business processes, workflow and automations? Yeah, certainly. So we'll start off on the activity stream. So this is where your workflows are. So your workflows are essentially what Bitrix provide as, I would say, as business requests, or HR requests. So all your workflows reside on your activity stream. So whether you want to request leave, whether you want to book a business trip, submit your expenses, your workflows reside here. Once these are submitted, they go into your workflow option in the left-hand menu. So I think unless I can not see it, workflows here. So a workflow usually triggers an assignment. So assignment would be something like approving that expense or checking whether somebody is able to have the requested leave. So a workflow assignment all come through your workflows option on your left-hand side. Then the second area of the processes inside Bitrix is going to be your automation. So your automation is solely focused on your leads and your deals. And the automation runs from your lead statuses. So your lead status is here. This is how your automation for leads is triggered. You can customize the automation rules in here like we have been doing throughout this session. In deals, it's exactly the same concept. Your deal stages trigger the automation. And the only difference with deals is that obviously you can have multiple deal pipelines. And the good thing about that is that you can have your automation on a pipeline by pipeline basis. The reason for that is so that you can segment those sales opportunities into those pipelines. So we click into here and we have multiple pipelines on ours. So if I was to click into on-premise opportunities, we have the automation in there as well based on the on-premise opportunities pipeline. So your workflows are on your activity stream and in the left-hand menu under your workflow assignments. Your automation is solely based on your leads statuses and your deal stages and pipelines. And then finally, we have business processes. And business processes are triggered in the CRM. And the business processes are triggered on leads, deals, contacts, and companies. And to access them, you just go to settings and you go to automation and then you go to business processes. And based on that, what you can do is you can create a business process in each one of these different sections in the CRM, so a lead, contact, company, or a deal. And you can trigger these business processes in 3 ways, okay? So you can trigger a business process every time a new entity is created. So if we're in the contact templates here, so every time a contact has been created, you can trigger this business process off. So if I click on to add template here, and I'll show you what I mean in here. So we have this business process will auto run when added. So I'm in a contact at the moment. Each time I add a new contact, whatever we set in this particular business process is going to be triggered. We can also set it so that every time a contact has been edited, we can trigger this business process off. So maybe we want to check a particular field inside a contact. If it's empty, we could send an email out to somebody. We might have a turnover field or the value of a particular contact. If it's over $10,000, then we could, again, send an email out based on the editing of a particular contact. And then finally, if we uncheck both of these options, we have the ability to manually run this business process. And this is quite common to do. And this is when I'll do it. So I could say raise, check, in fact, we'll just say check tax code. It's one that I've done recently. Check tax code. We'll uncheck these two, and then what we'll do in the parameter fields, we're going to create a form. So we could say employee checker tax code, and I'll show you what this does in a moment. Tax code checker, and we'll bind that to a user. Click on OK, and then finally we'll just add one more parameter, and then we'll put type of tax code. Oh, and we'll put type, and then in here we'll put maybe a list, and then we could put tax code 101, tax code 104, I don't know, tax code 107. In here, click set, click OK, and then I click save. And then what I can do on here, just one final part, we obviously need to add something into this business process. So we'll create a task. We'll create the task name as one of those parameters. So we could put type of tax code, and in here we could put check. Create the task as maybe who we had earlier, David Brown. And the responsible person for this task, if we go back into the template parameters, we're going to use the person who's going to be submitted on the form. And then we could put check code, and pretty much like where we were in the automation, we can set checklist items and everything like that. The only thing with this, please bind it to the CRM, and I'll show you what that does in a moment. So if we click on save, then if I go to our contact, then if I go into Bob Thompson here, and if you click into the little workflow tool at the bottom, at the top, we can have check tax code. You can then, the parameters that I set, tax code checker, I can select Max Smith, myself, who I'm logged in as, and the options in here, click on start. What you'll see here is we have this task that's just been created, 101. It's bounded, because when it said bind to CRM, yes, it's bound it to this particular contact. I can click in here and I'll be able to see the details of where it is. You can obviously, in that process, you can do it as complex as you want. You can actually pause the business process to only continue after this task has been completed. That's quite a good and common method to do it. But those are your differences. So your workflows are on the activity stream, your automation is your leads and deal stages, and your business processes are on leads, deals, contacts and companies, can be triggered on create, can be triggered on editing any entity, and it can also be manually triggered like I just did there. So hopefully that distinguishes between the three different types. Hi, I've just signed up for the Bitrix software. Could you tell us how to import lists into our contacts? So far we've had to enter them manually one by one. Yeah, absolutely, it's quite straightforward to do. All I would recommend doing if you're doing any imports, to make sure that the fields exist inside Bitrix already. So to make sure that those fields exist, click into settings where I was a moment ago, click into form and report settings, click into custom fields. And then if you're importing contacts, then just create some of the custom fields that you may need inside the contact. Doing that will ensure that you can import the data into the relevant fields that you have. Obviously, before you do that, please do check what standard fields already exist inside Bitrix. So you can see things like first name, last name, phone number, email address, they all exist as standard. So you don't need to create custom fields for that. And then all you need to do is go into the little gear icon in the top right hand corner, click on Import Custom CSV. And what I'll do is I'll just download a sample here. You can see import file example. If I just download that, I'll just show you what that does. So in your CSV, just name the column headers, obviously, that relate to the fields that you're going to map that data to inside Bitrix. So if I click on choose that particular file and then choose contact CSV. Okay, so choose the file. You can choose the default options in here. If you don't have a responsible person column in your spreadsheet, you can set a default responsible person for that contact here. And then if we just click on next, it's quite straightforward. The left hand side here are the fields, the column headers in your CRM. So any of the column headers that are in your spreadsheet will appear down this left hand side. If they're named identically to the fields that exist inside the CRM, then it will map them automatically. The likelihood is that if you've named something slightly differently in your spreadsheet in the column headers, it will generally look like that. So you'll have missing fields. So all you need to do is just map the field. So all these options in here are the fields that exist inside Bitrix, and you can map them to the relevant fields. It's as straightforward as that. So if I click on these, fill them out, scroll all the way down, and then click on next. And then what you have the option of doing is you have the option of checking whether these data fields already exist inside Bitrix. So if you're importing a contact that already exists inside Bitrix, it's up to you what you would like to do with it. If you would like to allow duplicates, you can simply click on allow. You can replace the existing contact. You can merge. That will update the empty fields that are on the contact that exists inside Bitrix already. Or you can skip. And if you skip, that's fine. And then you have the ability to decide what uniqueness control there is. Full name, phone number, and email. You can deselect these as you wish. A lot of people just do email because you do have common names in your database sometimes. Click on next and then it will start the import. It's quite straightforward. And that's it really. All I would recommend doing, if you're dealing with companies and contacts, import your companies first, because when you do the contact import, you do have this field here, company. So if you have the company named in your contact import, you can map it so that the contact maps to the company. And what I mean by that is if I was to go into Cisco systems here and you map a contact to the company, they exist in here. So you can see, it might be that you have somebody in accounts for Cisco systems. It might be you also deal with a salesperson, and it might be also that you deal with a support person. So you can map those contacts to those companies. So hopefully that helps. Does Bitrix24 have an auto dialer inbuilt or in the marketplace? If yes, which one is the best to use? The asterisk auto dialer is good. If you recommend that, that's in the application store. The other way of doing it is to create a filtered list. click into here, click Start Dialing, and then you can go through your cold call list one by one. And that's available in Leads, Contacts and Companies. So you can create this list, click on Call, and then that will start dialing and dial out of Bitrix. And then you can write some notes and go through each one of those. Is it possible that a workflow creates a custom document and sends it to the requester? It is particularly valid for vacation requests. Yeah, you can do that. You can have a workflow, create a document. You'd have to create the CRM document, I do believe, in here. And then if we go to workflows in the activity stream, click on the workflow that you want to change, click on Actions, click on Configure Workflows, and click into your workflow. And I do believe in here, let's have a look, see if we can. Maybe you can't in the, yeah, maybe you can't in here. I know if you're in the CRM, you certainly can. So if you're in the automation rules and the business process tool, you can click into here and then generate a CRM document. I guess running from a workflow, you can't really. If you're on the on-premise version, you could use the PHP code block and generate a PDF. We've done that before. But I guess with workflows, you can't, because yeah, the workflows are separate to the CRM. So you could only create a document from the CRM. I think that's we've come to an end. We are generally here for an hour every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you do have any questions that pop up throughout the week, send them to sales@intraface.com. And if you've got any queries about Bitrix, or if you're interested in purchasing Bitrix, please do get in touch with us. We can have a demonstration to make sure Bitrix is a good fit for your organization. Get in touch with the local office that's on the screen at the moment. Just got the final point with regards to, yes, you're on the on-premise version. Get in touch with us. We've created that script before to create the documents. We work with a lot of clients, so generally we've pretty much done a lot of customization. So get in touch with us and we can certainly assist with that. Okay, so hopefully see you next week, again 10 a.m. Eastern. Subscribe to the Bitrix24 YouTube channel and you'll get notified as soon as we go live. Thank you very much and bye for now.